Not many villains can make Superman worry about safety, but one sure did. It was Cythona, a Kryptonian god who rose from her slumber with murder in mind. Cythona, with her capabilities, is one of the strongest characters in the DC universe, and in today's video, we will look into the rise and fall of the mighty Cythona and why she made Superman so worried in the first place. The rise and wrath of Cythona, Superman's near-death experience. Cythona has a very bad history with Kal-El, well, technically his ancestors, that none of us, including Kal-El, knew about. So first, let's talk about that, and then we can move on to their confrontation. Cythona was the goddess of ice, and like the ice, she was cold through and through. She was full of hatred for anything warm and nice. She wanted to have children, but she only birthed monsters, and that acted as an excuse when she approached Ra, the god of sun and light in Kryptonian mythology. She wanted to mate with Ra, have his kids, yada yada, you get the drift, but things were not as simple as we thought. Ra is the god of light, and his light reached even the darkest corners of Cythona's mind, and what he found was not pretty. Ra figured out Cythona's ploy. He realized that she did not want to have babies out of love or anything remotely sweet like that. She wanted to have babies with him, to have demons who would go and corrupt every inch of the world that the light touched. Understandably, he rejected her. Like a crazy ex who could not handle rejection, Cythona decided to wage a war. This was known as the Wars of Ice and Fire. The gods who were in Ra's arsenal were gods, sure, but they were young and they had never faced off against Wrath. Wrath is quite the motivator, and that made Cythona almost undefeatable. But Ra and the gods outsmarted her and eventually defeated her. However, killing her was not something they could do. Not even Ra could kill Cythona, so instead they banished her to the far ends of Krypton in the hopes she'd never returned. But hatred is very quick to spread, and her bitterness stayed among the mortals of Krypton, so which made them rather bitter overall. Now, Cythona was still wrapped when Krypton was destroyed, and years after the destruction of Krypton, she came out. When she saw the broken remains of the planet, she assumed she won the war she waged against the gods and rejoiced in her victory. But then, almost in a sixth sense, she felt the presence of someone tied to Ra, a Kryptonian of light on a faraway planet, which is Earth. Wanting to see who it was for herself, she traveled to Earth. With her, she brought blizzards and snowstorms, and while Superman and Lois are struggling to figure out what they should be doing, Cythona shows up. Cythona sees Superman and assumes he is a young god like Ra. She combats with Superman, and when she tests out his powers completely, she is pleased with what she finds. She tells him that she will take him as her mate, and without hesitation, she kills Donna, a co-worker who smells like Superman. Cythona gives Superman an hour to meet with her, and she leaves, making her point. Superman takes Lois to the fortress and syncs her up with a battlesuit because he does not want her to be in the way of danger. Once she is safe, Superman decides to go meet with Cythona. But before he meets with her, he takes a detour to see Lex Luthor. Turns out Luthor himself tried to form a partnership with Cythona because of common enemies, of course, but Cythona refused to join hands with him. Understandably pissed at that, Lex gives Superman a bit of kryptonite and suggests him to use it well. Armed with a piece of kryptonite, Superman goes to meet Cythona. Cythona welcomes Superman with a cold, wet kiss, which disgusts her when she realizes that Superman is no god. The taste of mortality on his tongue disgusts her, and Cythona decides to kill him instead, like she killed every Kryptonian mortal. That wish to kill him solidifies what she learns, that he is from the House of El, the House of Light, a direct descendant from Ra. So yeah, things were not looking too good for Superman. Her ice powers damage Superman quite well, and her superior strength makes it hard for Superman to stand up. But from her villain monologue of how she will kill him and win, Superman has an idea. He starts fleeing, and while Cythona follows him, she's completely distracted and does not notice where they are going. Superman takes Cythona to outer space, where he is directly in front of the sun. The solar energy heals Superman and prevents Cythona's coldness from getting inside his head. On the other hand, as the sun is the opposite of what Cythona wants and needs, her powers grow weaker. This lets Superman have the opportunity to land a good punch on Cythona. But despite this, Cythona is strong enough to show her true goddess form, which looks like a humanoid jackal. As that form grabs Superman suddenly, the battlesuit comes to his rescue. Lois was not okay with some bimbo stealing her husband, so she decided to join in. Together, the couple subdue the goddess for a bit, and Superman throws the kryptonite at Cythona, which is enough to disorient her. Cythona starts falling, and thanks to the sun's gravity, she gets trapped in the core of the sun, and that is the last we see of her. With that, we get to see the end of Cythona's icy reign. Cythona's might, the limits of a god's strength. Superman is a strong character in the DC universe, and he has faced several strong characters in his entire run throughout the comic books, but there has never been a character that has made him so worried as Sithona did. We see Lois mention that he has never seen Clark so worried when Clark is fleeing with her in his arms. This is because Sithona is not an easy foe. Her abilities are far, far superior to Rao, a Kryptonian god. Her abilities make Rao seem nothing, and honestly, if someone can make even the god of your world seem nothing, the foe is quite formidable. Sithona has Omni everything, you name it, she has it at the Omni level. Omni strength, Omni agility, Omni speed. Her ability to manipulate ice is far greater than anyone can imagine. Her psionic abilities and strength are enough to make Superman reconsider going up against her, and we see him realize it after a casual backhand from Sithona incapacitates Superman for a while. With all that being said, she has an Achilles heel. With such great power, Sithona ended up becoming extremely arrogant. This arrogance is what lets people have a chance at outsmarting her. She may not be easy to kill, but she can be outsmarted with ease. Marvelous verdict. While we only get to see Sithona for 2 issues, Sithona's impact in the Superman story arc is immense. I mean, how many villains can you name who has made Superman worried and has gone against Doomsday? With that much power, Sithona is definitely a villain whose return I, for one, await patiently. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.